Hello, it's Mrs. Glasson. Welcome to Wonderful Words Defined. Do you remember my introduction to Wonderful Words? That's when I encouraged you to hit the subscribe button and to tune in every Tuesday and Saturday to this Wonderful Words series so that you could elevate your lexis, make your diction more dexterous, and make your English exemplary. So, why the need for Wonderful Words Defined? Well, as an English teacher, you may have noticed I use very ambitious words. It's my job, or part of my job, to model for you the type of language that you need to use to become an excellent English student. If you haven't watched my introduction to Wonderful Words, then I do implore you to watch it because it will contextualize some of the words that I'm about to define for you in this video. Oh, and before we begin, I'm going to be defining for you over 22 words, I think. So please can you ensure that you write them down? Make a note. It's a great idea and it's a great habit. It's how I learnt so many words. I always used to note down new words, and I still do, because I don't know every single word that exists in the world, but I'm curious. I really want to learn. And proactive learners are happy, successful learners. So it's a great thing to take on board. Here we go. Wonderful Words Defined. Now, here is a word that I often use as part of my vernacular. My vernacular when I am deliberately modelling the target language to you, when I'm deliberately using ambitious vocabulary. Vernacular. What does it mean? There it is there, and anyone that's ever been taught by me will know this word. Words in everyday use or everyday language. Vernacular. Therefore, by talking to you in my vernacular, it's my hope that your own vernacular will improve, that you will somehow assimilate the ambitious vocabulary that I use, and that your own vernacular will improve and increase and augment and ameliorate. So, vernacular, words in everyday use or everyday language. Now, I've used quite a few excellent words beginning with A just then, haven't I? But let's save those A words for the next video when I will be defining for you some excellent vocabulary, some excellent words that begin with A. For now, I'd like to return to a word beginning with A that I used in my introduction to Wonderful Words. So, it's important to me that when I teach you ambitious vocabulary, you are aware that these are words that you can use every day. They're not archaic or old-fashioned words. They're not antiquated words. They're words that you can use as part of your vernacular every day. And they're words that will help you in your lives. And one of the things that I'm well known or renowned for is my teaching of ambitious vocabulary. In fact, there's another video on here that you can have a look at. And you see, expert, enthusiastic English tuition, how I teach vocabulary. Look at these wonderful words. Do you know them? Anyway, back on track. So in this thumbnail, renowned for my teaching of vocabulary. And so I am. But what does renowned mean? It means famous or well known. Gosh, what a lot of wonderful words we are learning today. And there are many more to come. Are you noting them down? So here we have some fantastic synonyms for renowned. Distinguished, eminent, and illustrious. So, for example, behind me, we have books written by many distinguished and certainly illustrious writers. Now, some of you might have noticed something about my teaching style. It's rather tangential. I tend to go off on a tangent, as is my wont. And while I'm going off on my tangents, it's my hope that you'll be learning more vocabulary. What do I mean? Well, let's have a look. If you look up tangent, you will find a mathematical definition. Well, as all of my students will tell you, just as I'm inordinately good at English and at vocabulary, I'm also inordinately bad at maths. My math skills are parlous. They are dire. So therefore, I'm going to take that mathematical definition and park it right over there. Let's just stick to what I know. Let's look at tangent and tangential and the expression going off on a tangent as they exist as part of my vernacular. So I said that I have a tangential teaching style. What does that mean? Well, tangential means diverging from a planned route, sort of taking a different direction. Going off on a tangent, that idiomatic expression, means to begin discussing a topic or topics, it says in the dictionary, not relevant to the main discussion. Now, I would like to try to exonerate myself on this point. When I was teaching you renowned, for example, I thought of some excellent synonyms. So I then diverged from my path of teaching you renowned and from teaching you just the words that emerged in the Introduction to Wonderful Words video. And I taught you some synonyms. So therefore, I did begin a topic discussing vocabulary that was not pre-planned. However, by going off on my tangent, hopefully it meant that you have learnt some new vocabulary. So I would like to exonerate my tangential style for that reason. And I do love to make these lexical detours, as is my wont. As is my wont. What does that mean? So, as is my usual behaviour, wont meaning habit or custom. So I love to sit down and read one of my beautiful books of an evening, as is my wont. There we have these definitions. So I hope that you're learning quite a lot today. And as you can see, there is a method in my meandering madness. And on that subject, do you know what? I've just thought of some more excellent words. While I was teaching you eminent and distinguished, they kind of popped into my mind. So I'm going to share them with you now. Whoops, and there they are. I've called them tricky or easily confused words because, as you can see, I taught you eminent before, and here is this word, imminent, meaning about to happen. So eminent and imminent. In spelling and phonetically, they're so close, but they do not mean the same thing. Eminent, you already know, but imminent. So, for example, there are clouds in the sky. I think rain is imminent. And distinguished, meaning famous and respected, so there are lots of distinguished authors behind me. And this other word, distinguishable, meaning noticeable or easily seen. So, for example, taking one of my distinguished books. Here it is, one of my favourites, Wuthering Heights, a real classic of English literature, a wonderful book. But written by a very distinguished author, Emily Bronte, we can see that this book has distinguishable signs of wear and tear, all because of my rather enthusiastic reading and teaching of it. So distinguished and distinguishable. Another example. My dog Dante, when I take him out on a dark evening, I put this collar around his neck. Can you see it's one of those luminous ones? And I also dress him in this rather bright coat. And that's so that he is distinguishable. He is easily seen. And also, he's named after a rather distinguished author. Have you seen this video? It looks like that. Dante, Chaucer et al. So he is named after a distinguished author, and sometimes I dress Dante in distinguishable clothes. All for his own safety, of course, although some people might think it's because I like to dress my dog up in cute clothes. Surely not. Now I'm going to go to the part of the Introduction to Wonderful Words video where I said to you, and I've mentioned this part already, that you should subscribe to my channel. So hit the little pink, as you can see, I've got a pink subscribe button now so that you don't miss out. And in that part of the video, I said to you that you should follow my Wonderful Words series if you want to elevate your lexis, make your diction more dexterous, and make your English exemplary. So let's look at some of that vocabulary, shall we? Elevate. I'm sure you knew that word already. So to lift up or raise. So doing lots of exercise always elevates my mood. Yesterday, on that subject, when I was doing yoga, we were told to lift up our arms, so elevate our arms, bring them down, and then elevate our arms again. My goodness, wonderful words and wonderful yoga with Mrs. Glasson. So elevate meaning lift up or raise. There you can see the two words together. Elevate your lexis, meaning language. Now that I've seen that, elevate sounds a bit like alleviate, which is related to assuage. But rather than going off on that tangent, let's wait until the A words for me to define those for you. Let's just have a look at the words that I used in the Wonderful Words introduction video. So elevate also reminds me of elevator or lift, as it is in British English. So it's worth reminding you, make sure you use British English for the 11 plus. When I lived in Japan, so I taught English there for 3 years, I taught American English, so I'm aware of the differences. So ensure that you use standard English. So that's named as part of the national curriculum for English, from whence the Key Stage 2 syllabus comes that is used in 11 plus exams. And English examiners like me, whether we're marking 11 plus or GCSE, any work really at school, we are looking for British English, which is what we term standard English. So be aware and be careful. Next, I said to make your diction more dexterous. So diction meaning your choice of words. But more specific to spoken English, it can also mean your pronunciation or enunciation as well. Dexterous and dexterous. Unusually, here we have an English word that can be spelt in 2 ways. So dexterous meaning skilled or skillful. And be aware, let's see what I said about British English. Let's apply it here. So in American English, you spell skillfully like this. Oh, and my computer, which is set to British English, likes that not one bit, because in British English, the adverb is skillfully. So be aware. British English only, please. And dexterous reminded me of ambidextrous, which means able to use the left and the right hands equally well. I'm right-handed. Are you left-handed or are you ambidextrous? So ambi there, so the prefix from the Latin meaning both. And finally, that word that I used right at the start of my introduction to Wonderful Words, inordinately. I said that I was going to talk to you about a subject of which I was inordinately fond. And I have done the same thing today. I'm inordinately fond of English. I'm inordinately fond of teaching vocabulary and wonderful words. And I hope to do that again very, very soon with those words beginning with A. Oh, and I haven't forgotten that word, esoteric, either. Let's save that for the E words. But what you could do is you could look it up. Use that wonderful thing called the internet. For people of my generation, it's like a magic thing. And I do refer to it like a bit like that in the foundation and the 11 plus revision courses. Remember, be curious, be a proactive learner. So look up esoteric and any of the other words that I might have said that I haven't defined for you today. And also, if you can think of any excellent words beginning with A that you'd like me to include or define, or any other words in fact, then pop them in the comments below. Thank you, students, for watching today. I hope that you have enjoyed learning these wonderful words. I have thoroughly enjoyed teaching you. And if you'd like to learn some more fantastic vocabulary from me, firstly, go to www.mrsglasson.com and see what else is on offer. I have the foundation course in which I teach over 200 new words, and the 11 plus revision course in which I teach over 300 new words. And of course, as I said before, there are the free lessons, so check those out too. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday and every Saturday. Hit the pink subscribe button if you haven't done already, so that we can get together again and I can teach you some more wonderful words so that maybe you can join in. Elevate your lexis, make your diction more dexterous, and make your English exemplary.